here along with my co-host Tintu. We both are in Michigan. Of course, gotta be right. We are in Detroit. Detroit meetup. We gotta be in Detroit. So, and I am a delivery manager of sorts. I deliver mostly integration projects. I used to do only MuleSoft, but I do a lot of other integration projects. I want to be open with you on that. But I do a lot of MuleSoft projects delivery. I'm the SVP for Managed Solutions at K2 Partnering Solutions, which is the parent company of OpenLogix, the company that I used to work for. But Tintu, I'll let you introduce, and then you can introduce the speakers and the topic too. Good?
Sounds good. Hey everyone, thanks for joining the call. And I see folks joining from different parts of the world. Thanks for taking the time today and joining the session. I am Tintu Jacob Shaji. I go by Tintu, and I work on with the customer success team for Salesforce. And today we have two amazing speakers with us. We have Kirti Agarwal and Adiraju, both associate directors with a whole lot of experience in different technologies. And their main drive today is with TIBCO and how TIBCO can be seamlessly migrated with MuleSoft. Without me further, talking about all the integration goodies that they're going to explain, I'm going to let them take the show. And before I forget, please feel free to put all your questions on the chat and I'll monitor them and we will discuss as and when time permits. All right, to you guys. Kirti, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I am Kirti. I am from MuleSoft. I'm an associate director. I have been working in integration all my career. Have worked on TIBCO and MuleSoft to both. Have good amount of experience there. Have worked on a lot of migration projects. Looking forward to have some nice questions from this session for everybody who is trying to migrate off from TIBCO to MuleSoft. And I'll hand it over to Adi to introduce, and then we can start.
Hello, everyone. This is Adi. I have 20 years of experience in integration platform. So I worked with TIBCO just like Kirti, and then I worked with WSO2, Azure APIs, and now I'm taking care of all the US projects for MuleSoft that deal with the MuleSoft. Nice to meet you all, and we'd like to show the the advantages of moving from TIBCO to MuleSoft. Yeah, take it over.
And then you can start. I'll continue to share.
You want me to take it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey everyone, just like how we discussed. So the agenda of this meeting is we'll be looking at why we need why we are doing this MuleSoft to TIBCO to MuleSoft migration, and who we are as MuleSoft, and what are the reason that we need to move from TIBCO to MuleSoft, and what kind of strategy and approach that is best for depending upon the scale that you are looking at. And we'll present you with a case study of how we are doing a very huge engagement using TIBCO to MuleSoft. So that's the agenda. And thanks to our organizers, Steve and Tintu. And of course, we are the speakers. Would you like it to?
Go ahead, Adi. Yeah.
Yeah. So Salesforce became a leader in starting the trend to pursue customers to have them adapt to the SaaS services starting way back in 2010. So over the years, this literally became a market disruptor, and SaaS was the new buzzword in the black. Then, with the popularity of the cloud service providers increasing, organizers, along with SaaS adoption, started to migrate their systems and applications to the cloud. So these two strategies moves, along with the wide adoption of the automation in the recent years, have started to fundamentally alter the business landscape. In today's landscape, approximately 86% of IT leaders anticipate generative AI. I mean, we all know what the AI is doing. I mean, just like creating images and all that. But apart from that, we can use them in business applications too to significantly impact digital transformation within their organizations. To realize this, all elements of digital infrastructure like data, large language models or LLMs, processes, and applications must be seamlessly integrated to create an AI ecosystem from which AI can learn and better itself. So this would actually unlock a new use case and new markets that are previously hard to reach. And we are talking about one of such market. Next slide, please. So we at MuleSoft, we are the users of MuleSoft or implementers of MuleSoft. We know that MuleSoft has established itself as a trusted solution across various technological domains, emerging as a leader in iPaaS solutions like in API management and low-code application platforms. With lands, excuse me, with long-standing presence in the iPaaS and API management sectors, we have earned a recognition as MuleSoft implementers, and MuleSoft itself has a visionary in robotic process automation, and it is a strong performer in all the transformation waves or whatever the metrics that we can bring out in all kinds of quadrants like Gartner or Forrester. So MuleSoft is always a leader and visionary. Next. So what starting at 2006, the true power of MuleSoft lies in its ability to unify these technologies under a single platform. Like we don't have to go for one kind of development and one for integration and one for actually deploying, one for monitoring, like the earlier systems used to. We have everything in an under a single platform that will help, integrate your applications with ease and monitor them and deploy them with ease without any restrictions. Now, how did MuleSoft able to do this? By continuous innovation and adapting to the market and pioneering advancements wherever it is required in the field. And as one of the one of the earliest iPaaS solutions, it played a pivotal role in defining the concept of API-led connectivity that we love to do and cherish right now for our customers to build more agile and easily adaptable solutions and businesses. So expanding these capabilities, MuleSoft continued into the various aspects of business process modeling using its robotic process automation, the RPM, and with the acquisition of ServiceTrace. Subsequently, MuleSoft was acquired by 2018 because of its phenomenal growth in 2018 by Salesforce, and it actually helped in accelerate its integrating capabilities by facilitating like seamless connections with obviously Salesforce, but not just Salesforce, like a lot of third-party platforms that we have, like SAPs and NetSuites and all that. And this experience was shared across all sales, service, commerce, or whatever marketing that clouds that there are. But did we stop there? No, because the innovation is something that needs to keep propelling, and that's how we grow. So we have a democratized, MuleSoft has democratized in the integration by transforming from a pro code or code centric tooling to a very low code user community, empowering not only developers but also business users to contribute to your integration efforts. So this democratization this democratization has actually led to unprecedented scale, with MuleSoft facilitating close to 7.5 billion customer integration transactions per day, as per the statistics that they have. And this is massive scale, and considering everything on the same platform and considering on the cloud, it's a phenomenal achievement that we can say. Next slide, please. So when we look at this MuleSoft ecosystem closely, we do know that Anypoint platform is the unified solution offering comprehensive integration capabilities, just like we were discussing earlier. So at its core, it delivers essential features such as security measures, because we can configure all kinds of securities, certificates, everything in the Anypoint platform's secret manager, and the flexibility to deploy anywhere. We can have it. I mean, there is no restriction whether you can have only cloud-based applications that are talking to your on-prem, or you want MuleSoft itself to sit on your on-prem solutions, or you want like a mix and match of hybrid kind of solutions, we can have everything and anything with the deployment models that MuleSoft provides. And for other tools where we have a separate marketplace, like that is far away from your deployment model, MuleSoft instead provides, the Anypoint Exchange itself has a lot of pre-built APIs and even customer-built APIs that are certified by MuleSoft that will jumpstart your integration in a with a varying degrees of ease. Now, MuleSoft not just cater to huge customers or large customers. It caters to varying user needs, like with its low code tools like Composer, RPA, and IDP, alongside with these pro code solutions like Code Builder that is coming up and Anypoint Studio. So anyone with any level of coding experience can get onto it and make use of the benefits that MuleSoft provides. So to accelerate these kind of delivery further, so we have industry specific accelerators that are like for finance, for healthcare, for manufacturing, and for EDI, where we have a lot of B2B processors. There are a lot of industry specific accelerators that MuleSoft had come up with and that are very easy to use. So customers who have a use case in these domains, they have a significant head start when compared to other iPaaS or integration solutions because of the huge accumulated knowledge that MuleSoft provides and the environment community that is surrounding the MuleSoft with various documentation and easy to use assets. So MuleSoft extends this API management capabilities so that we can easily secure and govern these created APIs by securing with various policies and how you can gatekeep certain APIs. So with all of this holistic collaboration, MuleSoft delivers industry-leading end-to-end integration, automation, and API management solutions. So it is this comprehensive approach that makes the MuleSoft ecosystem a complete integration solution tailored to the needs of our customers by providing a unified solution platform at the same time. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, so some of you or most of you know what TIBCO is and the current landscape of TIBCO implementation. We have to understand the versatility of TIBCO suite of products like BW5, BW6, the messaging, EMS, BPM, the transport protocols like RV, Hawk, and the API. So there are a lot of stuff that is exhaustive list of tools that are in-house built or acquired by TIBCO over its period of ruling the integration market for a long time. Now, when you are looking at all of these products and to understand these pain points, we need to understand every product to its depth so that we can say, hey, this integration has such problems because of the lacking of this specific product in this place. So it is very imperative to understand what challenges TIBCO faces today, and considering it already receiving the legacy status, it has reduced support from developers, and the community that was once flourishing with the different kinds of issues and solutions has vastly dried off. And now, as modernized platforms are emerging, TIBCO's legacy platform is lacking, and that is causing its most loyal clientele like they are looking for other options, whether it is costly or whether it is cheap. Whatever options that are available, they are looking for it. So with this, TIBCO resources are pretty scarce in the market today, with many professionals like us are already transitioning to newer technologies. And not just that, so several marquee TIBCO products have either reached their license support cycle, or they are already in their end of life status, just leaving customers on extended warranties to sustain operations while planning their migration. TIBCO had a lot of strengths, such as the robustness of BW5, which is even today one of the great integration tool. its adaptation to the latest trends has been sluggish, with many businesses still relying on the same old technology for most mission critical operations. This doesn't fly anymore. In contrast, whoever is seeking to end-to-end strategy for hyper automation, MuleSoft effectively addresses these all through a unified platform. Just like how we were discussing on the earlier platform, all of these different components that TIBCO supports to provide single integration, they can all be integrated in single unified platform of MuleSoft. So that is the challenge that TIBCO is facing. And can I have the next? So
I will take a. I'll go ahead with this. Thank you.
sure.
Thank you so much, Adi, for a brief introduction about what MuleSoft is, what all things it provides, how the complete ecosystem of MuleSoft works. Before I start for TIBCO to MuleSoft migration, the processes that we follow for migration, I would like to just have give a quick intro about ProwessSoft. Uh, ProwessSoft doesn't provide just integration as a service. Integration is in our DNA. We have partnered with large number of enterprise clients to provide cutting edge integration solutions. What sets us apart from other for us is our team's extensive experience into TIBCO and MuleSoft ecosystem both. We have firsthand experienced both the strengths and the nuances of each platform, and it allows us to navigate them effectively. In fact, our leadership team comes from a TIBCO experience, particularly in enterprise large-scale integrations. And as a Salesforce recognized partner specializing in TIBCO to MuleSoft migration, we operate across four different continents, and we have a workforce of around 300 skilled resources. Our clientele spreads across various domains, but we would not be going in depth in each of them. I would just like to give you a glimpse of what those different use cases are, but our focus for today would primarily revolve around TIBCO to MuleSoft migration. These are just a few use cases that we have across different domains. Coming to TIBCO to MuleSoft migration, when we initially started, we saw why businesses were requesting to part ways with TIBCO. There were a lot of reasons to do so. But during the journey, we suggested our customers to optimize first their support spend. They spend a lot of money on TIBCO support to keep their business running. But what we suggest our customers to do that is to optimize their support spend, they can save almost 30% of their TIBCO support spend and put that money into migration process and have a good start towards TIBCO to MuleSoft migration. When you start with the TIBCO to MuleSoft migration, one thing you need to understand is first you need to try and gather all the information which can be reused. And then even when we talk to clients, a lot of businesses, they talk about migration and they talk about as is migration. They want to take everything as is from TIBCO and put it into MuleSoft. However, there is a major drawback to this where this as is migration could lead you into creating a large number of APIs and implementations, which is completely not what MuleSoft suggests. They suggest that you have to create a set of reusable APIs and have them in an API-led architecture and not just create a lot of implementations, a lot of point-to-point integrations. So getting into specifics of why to migrate, the core fact of migrating from TIBCO to MuleSoft is not just about going cloud native or building a microservices architecture, but it is also about the ecosystem that MuleSoft provides along with it. Like for example, MuleSoft gives you integration with generative AI or RPA, which TIBCO does not have. So if I have to take an example, like from TIBCO, if you have to manage your APIs, you would end up using Mashery. Or if you want to create ETL jobs, or if you want to create any integrations, you would use BusinessWorks. If you want to use messaging, you would use EMS. And if you want to do monitoring, you would use Hawk. And there are a lot of many other tools that TIBCO has that would allow you to do different things separately. But when it comes to the MuleSoft or the Salesforce ecosystem, everything is under one hood, just like Adi said, that everything comes under the design and the runtime plane, which will provide you all the features that you are looking for. very rarely that you would have to go outside this ecosystem to look at stuff and see additional items that you would need. And even with TIBCO, you would not get any latest features like RPA or anything. In fact, with TIBCO, you can also use distributed tracing, open telemetry, and many advanced features that are still lacking in TIBCO, and we do not see a future with that. Having said that, if you have to migrate from a platform that is as complex as TIBCO, which has so many tools involved, you need somebody who can understand both TIBCO and MuleSoft, who can guide you to how to map products from TIBCO to MuleSoft, who can help you understand the complexities of XSLT, or how the common loggers within TIBCO works, and how things can migrate from TIBCO to MuleSoft effectively. But even though when we plan to migrate, it is not necessary that you have to create everything from scratch. There are a lot of things that can be transformed directly into MuleSoft artifacts. Like, for example, most of the TIBCO products would have common loggers, or they would have CI/CD platform set up. Uh, they would have some sort of external tools that would do some code analysis, or code scanners that they would have. You can just enhance those processes or transform them into MuleSoft and use them as for your MuleSoft migration. Now, coming to our journey from our experience, what we have seen about how we migrate from TIBCO to MuleSoft, um, we follow these specific set of steps at any migration journey. So the first thing that we do is discovery. So as you all know, in TIBCO we have like let's say if you consider TIBCO 5.x, everything can be extracted through app manage extract. Now that app manage extract will have a lot of, like, has all the runtime information, and it would give you a lot to more information about on a high level structure, like what are the systems it is integrating to, whether it is connecting to web servers, whether it is connecting to different file servers, databases, SAP, any systems that you are connecting to. And then you can also read through configuration files, get some more information about it. But if you have to do this whole thing manually, it would take a lot of time. So our suggestion, as any person who are, if you are in the TIBCO to MuleSoft migration journey, have something in place that would allow you to automate this stuff, that can fast track your discovery process as well. And then once you have all this information in, you can work with the business stakeholders to see what is the target architecture that it would look like, what are the different systems involved, and what are the different objects that you are going to deal with, have a huge fast tracked process in place. Once you're done with the discovery, you have all the parts of the source architecture, you would dive into planning. So that is where your complete re-architecture would come into picture. Once you have the re-architecture in place, you have to make sure that you're not doing an as-is migration. You understand the customer as well as make them understand that as-is architecture is not going to result them um, great fruits in the long run. So it is always recommended that you go in for a re-architecture, utilize um, what are the capabilities of MuleSoft, and use them in an effective way. Once you have the re-architecture in place, you would go into prioritization. Prioritization is something that I will talk in the next slide in depth, but prioritization is one of the most important step when it comes to planning. And once you are done with the prioritization, you would create all your Jira backlogs, epics, and have a program increment in place where you would go through each um, um, set of services in iterative fashion and implement them. Once you have all the program increments in place, you have everything in backlog, that is where your application build comes into picture. The first thing that you do as a part of your application build is creating all your common libraries, any objects that you have to create, your common ramels that can be used across different integrations. Once all of that is in place, that is where your data transformation, API-led methodology, everything would come into picture. Um, do make sure that you try to have the common libraries and the objects created beforehand before you start with the initial migration places. Once you start with the migration, take a few set of interfaces, try to implement them along with the common libraries that you have created, do any sort of enhancements that might be required, uh, transform all your TIBCO schemas to RAML schemas, and these data types that you create from TIBCO schemas to RAML schemas can be a reusable asset and can be used in the future for any other integration that you're doing within MuleSoft. Um, Coming to data transformation, XSLT to data weave is one of the most toughest part. You have a lot of mapping in TIBCO, and the mappings do not just lie in mappers. It lies in almost every activity that TIBCO has. So see if there is a way for you to come up with a utility that would allow you to transform this XSLT to data weave in an easier way, and it would lead you a lot of cost savings and time saving in the long run. If your app manage extract has information about end systems, like you're connecting to SAP or database, or if you have any publication services like adapters, you should create the system APIs, and then all your orchestration lies in the process layer APIs. You create an API led architecture for any use cases that you pick up, and then once you have all of this in place, that is where you go into a full blown migration activities. Once you have all these information in place, that is where your CI/CD pipeline comes into picture. You do the deployments. For the initial deployments, manual deployments happen, but when you have a lot of interfaces coming up and you go into full scale migration, it is recommended that you have a CI/CD pipeline. As I mentioned before, if the customer already has a CI/CD setup in place, you can enhance the existing CI/CD setup to be used for MuleSoft integration. If not, it is suggested to have a CI/CD pipeline in place, and that would save you a lot of time and effort in terms of deploying services. Coming to monitoring in TIBCO, we used to use Hawk for monitoring, and it would give you very limited set of information. It wouldn't have everything that you need in today's world for monitoring. But when it comes to MuleSoft, once you deploy the application, it is monitored by anypoint monitoring, and in fact, you can also do you can link the monitoring to any third-party tools like ELK or maybe Splunk or any other monitoring tool where you want to create additional dashboards, or any sort of external monitoring or data management that you want to do. So that is something that you can do with monitoring. Like I was talking about prioritization in the previous slide, any set of interfaces that you identify as a part of migration, it needs to be divided into any of these four quadrants. So you can see on the x-axis you have the interface complexity, and on the y-axis you have business outcome. So anything that is high business value and low complexity are the technical interfaces that you need to pick up first. The second one that you would be picking up mostly would be the strategic ones, which are high business value and high interface complexity. But since strategic ones would be more like medium to high complex integrations, we suggest that you pick up a few of operational ones which are low business and low interface complexity, so that it would keep your velocity in place. And once you have all of these done, the low priority items, which are high complex with a low business outcome, go the last. And these are majorly those services which would just ensure the sunset of TIBCO, and then you can move completely over to MuleSoft. Coming to timeline and deliveries of how we follow, this is a standard timeline that we generally have. We have like 4 weeks of discovery, and we build a migration roadmap. We see what are any sort of analysis that we do, work with the customer to understand what are reusable artifacts that they have, what are the objects that they're working with, what are the systems that they're connecting with. All those comes under the discovery and roadmap. Once you have that in place, you go to the planning phase where you create all your Jira tickets, have a complete backlog in place. Then comes the solution architecture, where you pick up a few interfaces from based on your priority that we just saw, based on the priorities that you have defined. Pick up the common artifacts first along with a few interfaces, and then that goes into a cycle of iterations where you would have a design in place, build the applications, deploy them, hand it over to testing. Once the testing is done, it would go to your SIT or user testing, all the testing would get completed, and then you would have a deployment and hypercare mode, as in based on your velocity of applications, or what is the throughput that you have of migrating services from TIBCO to MuleSoft. You would have that number of deployments, hypercare in place. This would all be in different iterations that would happen, and having a CI/CD pipeline there would definitely help. Coming to case study, I'll hand it over to Adi to take over the case study. Adi.
Yeah, thank you, Kirti. So, can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah.
So the use case that we are going to discuss is an active implementation that we are doing for a large customer. They are a global leader in aluminum business, like all kinds of aluminum business. They are a global leader, and they have over the years, considering their huge business scale, have a lot of TIBCO implementation using business works and all kinds of TIBCO implementations at their end. And considering the heftiness of managing this at the end of life cycle, they wanted to migrate into MuleSoft, and we started helping them achieve that target step by step, just like how Kirti had mentioned just earlier. Yeah, next slide, please. So as I said, they have a lot. I mean, considering the heftiness of their operation, they have systems in TIBCO applications that are, um, I would not say as much as monolithic, but hefty systems in manufacturing, HR operations, SAP, finance, transport, logistics, and everything is relying on TIBCO's on-prem model of deployment, and it is becoming really difficult for them to achieve their business goals with the speed of the way the world is moving, and achieve the same kind of efficiency with these legacy systems. So can we have the next slide, please? So they came. This is the implementation methodology, right? So as Kirti was saying earlier, the entire implementation methodology follows our discovery and PI release and go live. So discovery is actually big in such big implementations because of the lack of connecting some switch somewhere and uh, the light going off in another floor. So there is a lot of operational complexity involved in discovery and building the interface backlog. And the first implementation always do it with a low hanging fruit, with high priority, and take that with the minimal complexities to showcase how best we can do this. So the first cycle would always be a planning with the architects and everyone from the customer, and then doing a design of our API-led architecture, how the migration would look like when we are moving away from TIBCO's deployment model and TIBCO's development model to a MuleSoft API-led architecture, and then we do the build cycle, and then we validate with the customer. So this validation would involve testing, deployment, and effectiveness of the application running after deployment, so that all the parts of the business of the customer, whether it is the business analysts or the actual business users or end users, and see how effective it is when we have migrated from a old system to a newer system. And then based on that, we'll go for PA releases, and considering we have the backlog built sufficiently, we'll take it forward and just do this iteratively. And then whenever we are doing these program increments, we'll make sure that whatever, based on the customer's necessity, whether we are going for a big bang of a specific interface. Suppose if we are talking about logistics, whether we need to go for a big bang, or if we can do even a measured approach for these go lives. And then based on that, we'll take necessary decisions, involve everyone like devs, QA, business, operations, and everyone. And then once we have figured out the best way to go for a specific domain, we take that approach and slowly move over each component from that specific object. Yeah, get the next slide, please. Now, did it move? Now, with this API-led thinking, obviously we know, I mean, if you are in MuleSoft, you know what is API-led thinking. This is severely lacking in the world of TIBCO, as we were doing. Still, the TIBCO heavily reliant on all these old systems are heavily reliant on web services, and web services are SOAP services, which are heavy and and not that efficient when we are dealing with huge number of transactions that a streamlined integration process with with APIs that can do. So we have explained the customer all of this. Just 1 second, keep it backslide, please. So we have explained the customer the benefits of this API-led approach and what benefits that it comes from a decoupling the monolithic systems into different services and then connect them all through the APIs and easily manage them and monitor them without heavy applications like utilizing Hawk and building separate Hawk rules for each application. And the customer, it is easy to get a buy-in when we showcase the benefits of this API-led approach. Next slide, please. So another move that helped the customer, reap the benefits of this whole migration is based on the trends of the market. Whether when you are doing this kind of migration, the first thing that you always ask is what kind of business the customer wants to do, and whether Cloud Hub 1.0 would suffice, or based on their load, they want to do auto scaling and everything just like a Kubernetes environment, and would a Cloud Hub 2.0 would help them. So this kind of realization, both from customer and partner, would actually help them optimize the vCore costs, and even though it is pricey, but it would help them optimize it in such a way that they actually see the benefits out of it. Thank you. Next. So when we have automated tools, as Kirti was saying, the biggest thing when we are facing with these kind of migrations, whether it is TIBCO to MuleSoft or any other process, the most business logic is written in a code that is not easily migratable. Although XML, you can just use the XML in another process, but the way that specific software deals with XML, like XSLTs in case of TIBCO, are not easily transmittable into code that is easily understandable by MuleSoft. So we have to convert these into data weave. So while we are doing this conversion, there are so many things, little things or big things, that we need to be creative about, so that our data processing and data quality and accuracy that comes with these kinds of data, both sensitive and whether identifiable information or credit information or whatever. So these kind of quality and data processing accuracy will lead to bigger benefits from the customer point of view. So we cannot promise in every integration, but from what we have done to this specific customer, we have seen when we have deployed a few applications into our production environment at the customer side, we have seen, or the customer has observed, over an 85% of reduction in average processing time of these requests. So when you have different tools running in different paces, like a messaging system working in its own pace and a process working in its own pace, so there are a lot of disconnects happening, and there is a lot of support time that is spent in actually resolving the issues. So when we have done this migration based on our experience, a customer had given a performance improvement report of almost 85% reduction in some of the processing times of some of their transactions. So which is which is one of the biggest goal for the customer. Now, as people who are working in MuleSoft would know, we have integrated visualization on the platform itself. We can build custom dashboards. We have built for the customer custom dashboards that show the pain points, the throttles that the applications are coming up with, and also the data visualization help them through the anypoint monitoring platform. They are able to get valuable insights, and they have the integration visibility. And this actually helped empower the business users to make better decisions based on the data that is available. So the success of migration obviously is in the number of outcomes that are possible and that are to the satisfaction of the customer. And this showcased the transformative power of MuleSoft integration platform. The customer now has access to a more efficient, agile, and customizable and future-proof business ecosystem. So although the uptake is huge, like migrating from a age-old system with the heavy implementation, but a small step towards this migration will have actually bigger impacts for the customers and their business. So when we have started this in the journey in Jan 2023, we have, and we still have a lot of things to do for the customer, but we started with a goal of doing certain interfaces, and now by March 2024 we have completed 78 projects, not projects, but 78 interfaces from TIBCO are migrated to Mule interfaces. And for this, we have worked on, as we were discussing earlier, the planning phase. We have worked from Jan 2023 to June 2023. We almost spent like 5 months on planning, creating a pipeline for backlogs, and understanding the approach, and making the customer understand what kind of benefits that this migration would help them, and how MuleSoft is efficient in not only solving their existing problems, but also efficiently enhancing their existing user experience. So all of this took till June 2023 before we actually started the migration. And once we have started with June 2023 and till March 2024, we were able to successfully move 78 interfaces into production with various tools and all that kind of connectors that are available on MuleSoft platform. So we're still continuing to do this, and there are bigger things and better things in future for the customer. Next slide. So obviously, the best practices, lessons, and recommendations would vary from when you are choosing from a smaller customer, like who has just went from TIBCO to MuleSoft with just a couple of years in TIBCO, to such a customer that we are dealing with is huge. So, but still, we should be able to garner whatever lessons that we have. We should learn from any and every kind of experience. So, one of the bigger lessons that we have learned was identifying the patterns and building templates. So, as you know, just like any other tool, we can easily build templates in MuleSoft. So, with this customer, we were able to come up with frequently used applications like logging. External logging also is templatized, and we have uh, excuse me. So based on the necessity of this, we were able to efficiently migrate the ecosystem to reduce the time and effort. And this helps in the, not just 78, right? Like whatever is remaining, these templates will help and accelerate the process. And this other lessons that we learned were in monitoring and observability. So whenever always it's about the life cycle of a message. So from the time a message is originated, it always the visibility till the end of life for this specific message is always valuable for such huge businesses where order processing comes from one country and the order delivery starts from other country. So this kind of monitoring for data visualization actually helped us, and this taught us so many lessons in how to customize the anypoint monitoring for our need and our better insights. So, and the other lessons that we learned was end-to-end automation, whether it is whether be it is CI/CD automation, whether it is build automation, whether it is deployment, M units, and code quality. Everything that Kirti had touched upon, how easy it is to do automation in MuleSoft, and how good once everything. Of course, we'll have the starter pains in anything, but once it is done, how easy for us to migrate everything. Not just migrate, but once we are done with the code, the developers will not have to touch anything. It just is smooth transition from developer desktop to say it is SIT environment or UAT environment, and everything is monitored, dashboards created, and everything is good. So always when we are doing this, automation is our topmost priority right now. So whenever we are doing this, we are looking for the ways and talk to customers, understand their automation needs as well. So these are the things that that went well for us, and we were able to successfully do the customer migration and help customer with the pain points that they have. Yep. Thank you so much, everyone. You can ask the questions now.
Wonderful. Quick question while people ask questions, Adi. There was one question from Yugesh. He said, have you guys used or created any accelerator for TIBCO pseudocode extract?
Kirti, would you like to take that question?
Yeah. So yes, we have created a proprietary accelerator that allows us to fast track the migration. That allows us to migrate TIBCO components into MuleSoft.
And also following on the same question lines, I do recollect you mentioning about how tedious or tricky it is when you're trying to transform XSLTs to data wave. So, are there any tools or application that your team has developed that public can use?
I know we have something that is internal and proprietary, but I can check if there is something that is available. But as far as I know, outside in general, I couldn't find anything that would allow you to um, use it, and that is something that is like available for public. I haven't seen anything of that sort.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yogesh has a follow-up question. Yogesh, I can make you a presenter. Could you, Tintu, can you make him a presenter so that he can unmute himself and ask a question?
Sounds good. Probably, I'll stop recording the session and then we can take it, right?
Yeah, good
Um,
idea.
yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much, once again, Kirti and Adiraju, for all the insights. And it's wonderful to know how much of planning is needed, and how seamlessly we can migrate, and also the differences in the monitoring tools that TIBCO has and what MuleSoft has. And as you mentioned, MuleSoft is coming up with better monitoring tools every quarter. So it's wonderful to know all those. That being said, thank you again. Uh,